And it is time for match number 4 to end off day number 1 here. Matt, we've got a great one, Southern Exposure, LA Blaze. What are your thoughts?
Let's get to it, Nick. Southern Exposure with a full set of players on their roster tonight. They've been thin. They added Langston Payne, Tim Lurich, Eddie Mushikian, and Achena Afoha is freshly back from his season overseas, so they're at full strength. It should be a real battle for them. Meanwhile, for the Blaze, they've had a little bit of up and down training sessions. However, they're at full strength too. Charles Blevins should be really good for them tonight, so I'm looking forward to that matchup as well.
Yeah, I'm always curious. I think it's a perennial thing that all of us talk about, because we all see Belvin's training and we're like, we know how good he can be. There's always kind of a back and forth about who they're going to start on the right side spot. So it's either going to be Joseph Cuevas, or it's going to be Charles Belvins over there. But either way, look for it. The big one, Ricky Massanet is back in the libero, so he'll be wearing white today, number 11. Definitely a big piece of this. But while we're talking about liberos, Southern Exposure, the story as old as time is that they've got 2 of the best liberos with Kyle D'Agostino and Johnny Gomez. Unfortunately, neither of them can make it. So in true 2022 fashion, the run for the coaches and owners of the teams to show the fans that we can all still play, Tony Glessner is suiting up in the cotton candy pink today. So that's going to be the last time he played. He actually had a torn ACL for the 3rd time, hasn't had it repaired since then. So Tony Noni is playing on a torn ACL today, and we're gonna see what the man can get done wearing pink.
Yes, the cotton candy pink floral uniform of Southern Exposure's libero will be under some heavy scrutiny this evening.
Yeah, but we look at the side of Southern Exposure, and they've always been a core of guys that have a variety of outside hitters. So if they need to change anything up on passing, they've got the personnel to do so. I would expect to see Hubbard Neal, as well as it looks like it's going to be Eddie Mushikian out there. So they're putting a passing forward outside core there. Also worth noting, Derek Sullivan, head coach at Belmont Abbey, has still not returned, but he will be back coming into the next event. So in the meantime, we saw David Specian making his NVA debut at event number 1, had a great showing, and so he'll be back taking the helm here. And Chad Mercado back, number 9, replacing the Jan Sullivan, who was on the right side at event number 1. So Chad Mercado back in this starting lineup, looking to do some damage.
And for LA Blaze, we see Travis O'Gorman as well on the court, making his 2020 debut. Expect to see big things out of him, as the outside hitter will be relied upon quite heavily to produce some points for his side, as well as number 4, Damani Lenore, his first start here in the middle for LA Blaze.
Wow, already fans coming in from the Ukraine at 4 a.m. That's impressive. We're glad to have you here. The NVA, our goal is definitely to strive to provide a U.S. Pro League, not only for our fans here at home, but internationally as well. So it's great to see that, it's a product worth tuning into. Once again, make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you see a clip that happens, use those scissors, clip it, put it on your favorite social media, and share it with your friends. But with that, we are on our way, and we are going straight down with a big swing from Damani Lenore to get us started in the right direction. The Cal State Northridge middle opens up. Wow, that was a swing with authority to start it.
Gate. Yeah, absolutely. Established that middle attacker. Southern Exposure was not ready for that one.
Bump set to Mercado, manages and tries to manage, but all he finds is the great wall of Damani Lenore right there. Man, Belvins and Lenore squaring up nicely to control that. 2-0 for LA Blaze right out the gate. Jesus Serrano puts that one low, goes into the net. Hubbard Neal with the jump serve, going to get rewarded with the overpass. Mushikian goes into the deep corner, nobody home, and that'll be Exposure tying us up at 2.
Tyler Hubbard-Neal is one of those players, a real key component as a role player, right? Can take over offensively for games for Southern Exposure, but tonight we're going to need him to be a role player throughout this match.
Wow, Eddie Mushikian coming in at 6 feet tall, playing like a lot taller than that. That's a huge shutdown block going to his left. Hernandez with a tight pass, gets the one-handed back set. That goes long, that goes wide, long, whatever directional that is. Little discussion on the side of Blaze if they want to challenge a potential touch there in the one-on-one, but overruled. And the missed serve is a great indication that they had no need. Hubbard-Neal's run comes to an end. Hernandez, jump serve taken by Glessner. Back set, another block from Damani Lenore. Attempted to be tipped over there by Langston Payne, but wow. Damani Lenore's blocking just discipline right now is unrelenting. Mercado tries to tip it deep. Hernandez finds first ball. O'Gorman to side out and is able to do so. The exposure block, unable to corral that ball back into the court.
Travis O'Gorman, a high-quality outside hitter for the league. The Blaze absolutely need him to step up tonight and have a big match if they want to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Like I said earlier, top 5 kill leader from the 2021 season. Kind of snuck in there even on an underperforming LA Blaze squad, so someone they're going to look to. Mushikian goes, looks for the high hands on that big block, but no one home.
Well, that's the right swing by Eddie. High hands off the fingertips, especially off a well-formed block. That time just missed it. Doesn't seem to be that there was a touch, and no challenge will be called upon this time.
Hernandez with a serve to Glessner. Mushikian battles through the block, but is dug by Massanet. And O'Gorman misses that hand connection there. Almost puts that one under the net. Man, that point was so free. Feeling like a little bit of philanthropy there from Southern Exposure. Don't have to work too hard when O'Gorman's swinging like that.
I see what you did there, Nick. And yeah, that was a free point to Southern Exposure.
Oh, Langston Payne, the one-handed stab that just missed that ball about 3 times.
Well, that's a prime example of why the libero got introduced into the game, as middle blockers playing left-back defense isn't always a good thing. Langston Payne needs to get 2 hands out there, and maybe he can control that one.
Lenore with a float serve, targeting Hubbard-Neal. Specium pulls it out of the net and sent over. Hernandez attacks Uchenna Ofoha there and squeaks that one through. Right now, Matt, it feels like the LA Blaze offense isn't having to do anything too special. It feels like they're kind of taking advantage of some maybe undisciplined blocking from Exposure, but Exposure's just not quite formed the way they want.
Still trying to figure out, a little bit of the Blaze offense. New hitters, new players, so.
Free point there for Blaze. Mushikian finds the candy cane pin off of the top of the net there. That's going to be a ball out of bounds. Uchenna Ofoha cuts it back. Lenore tries to track it down and does so successfully. Free ball from Belvin. And now Uchenna repeat swing. They liked it the first time, but they loved it the second.
You have to get Uchenna Afoha activated through the middle for Southern Exposure. 6'9", absolute beast of a middle attacker. So physical, can get on the ball quick and high.
Another one of the native Canadians in our league alongside Joey Jarvis. Nice hybrid serve there from Mercado. And Travis O'Gorman attacks the double block of Specian and Ofoha, scoring effectively.
Does a great job targeting Specie in the wing blocker that time, also the setter for Southern Exposure. When you're hitting against Uchenna Afoha, you do not want to hit angle into that one.
Belvin serving long. Out of system, Belvins has to pull this one back in. O'Gorman once again struggling with the out of system. There's got to be a little bit more swing management if they're going to extend the rally, because Southern Exposure is all about playing the full point. So if you're not ready to, play some of those defensive points out and scrap, it's not a good telling sign. But Exposure still down by 2. Pass coming over, free ball coming back. O'Gorman battling with the block once again, definitely reaping the rewards of the in-system set to the outside.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is a matchup that LA Blaze will definitely want to expose against Southern Exposure with Specian on the right side block there.
Big jump serve taken by Glessner once again. Serrano, number 14, shutting Hubbard Neal down early. Jesus Serrano with a fantastic solo move.
What a absolutely textbook, perfectly timed solo block by Serrano that time.
LA Blaze block right now is looking formidable. The outside, tipped over the top. That's going to be a net there from Rodder, number 8. Going aggressive, trying to swat that tip back over. Sometimes you just want to go low and tight, let your guys behind you pick that up, but got a little starry-eyed looking at that one. Massanet with a great ball. And Rodder getting blocked back, and now the Southern Exposure answers on the net with a nice block from Langston Payne.
Langston Payne very disciplined that time, kept his hands up high, saw the set go into the middle, and was right there waiting for that block.
Ofoha serves into the net with a float serve. Back set to Mercado. Mercado attacks the line. Rodder unable to defend against the D-ball line swing. Nice pass from Hernandez. A tip over, taken by Massanet. Lenore takes it, and Belvin out of system. Great rip, and now it's a free ball coming back from Glessner. Belvin wants the big one, swings wide and misses it. Very confident, but unable to get that one to go his way.
Yeah, one-on-one situation for Charles Belvin. That ball's got to be hit in the court. Just tried to cut that angle off a bit too sharply, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Specie with another good jump serve. Pipe attack, tipped over. Back row attack, yep, from Specian. It's a good call by our R1 up top. Point for LA Blaze as they maintain a 2-point lead here. Specian out to Mercado, and Mercado is shut down. Damani Lenore has a gate over the top of the net, and the key is in his pocket. The third terminal block from him already this match. Another big serve, gets the overpass. Damani Lenore. Matt, I think we're at the point we can just kind of say his name, just Damani Lenore. Damani Lenore, and it's probably right.
Yeah, and at this point right now, Southern Exposure is going to have some Damani Lenore nightmares if this keeps up.
You know, one of the things we talked about in our NVA pregame show this morning was where I personally gave the edge was Exposure. I thought their middle experience was going to be something that LA Blaze was going to struggle with. That it could not have been a worse read so far. Damani Lenore is taking this match over by himself.
Yeah, by himself. He's been an absolute force in the front row. And it seems as if Southern Exposure didn't even know that he was going to be here today. And LA Blaze has done a nice job keeping him kind of top secret for this debut performance so far here in set number 1.
Yeah, he's doing a solid job. I think we got to see a little taste of him in event 1. He wasn't there on their first match, if I'm not mistaken, but played in the second. And but he is, you know, this is what I love about the league as we continue going down that road, and these new names emerge and they kind of make themselves heard. And he's having a heck of a showing here. And this is in the absence of names like Jonathan Rodriguez and Pedro Nieves, two guys that have just won golds at Norseca playing for Puerto Rico. So, I mean, they're the best in the business, you know?
Yeah. He sees an opportunity to step in. He's taking full advantage of it and doing a great job. Getting a lot of props from his team and coaching staff as well.
Serrano targets Glessner once again, kept alive, and Mercado pushes it deep. Belvin throws that one over the top. Glessner gets a touch on it, but Mushiki in back row not able to find a second touch. I'm curious for everyone at home watching, I'd love to hear in the YouTube chat how you think this one's going to go. Let us know who's going to win this and how many sets. Always love to see which of our fans are able to get that right. Quick back set. Hubbard Neal tries to, effectively does. For the first time, someone is able to beat the block of Lenore and not get swatted back into the court there. Good work by Hubbard Neal. Still down by 4. There's some grounds to be caught up for Exposure. Huge swing to Damani Lenore. He's having an absolute showcase match. The man is untouched.
Unstoppable right now.
Hernandez going after Glessner there. High ball option means a triple block coming his way, but not a problem for Eddie Mushiki, and cuts that back down the line.
Eddie Mashikian with a big swing fast down the line too. Basically beat the 3-man block to that line swing.
Yeah, it's impressive to do. I'd like to see the defensive move a little more prepared in the back row there from Serrano on the line, but there's a fantastic set. O'Gorman having a lot more success on the in-system sets to him, but mad props there to number 14, Serrano, able to get the one-handed set all the way out there. He's been dishing with some one-handed sets a lot tonight already.
He has. He's been on the run quite a bit, but doing a nice job, and that time the one-handed set to the outside really got it done.
Nicholas Dennis in as a serving sub. Taps it over the tape. Quick set to the middle, and Rotter not to be outdone. The LA Blaze middle duo is absolutely throwing haymakers right now, and they're going to get a timeout, a 6-point lead, 20-14.
Steven Rodder's got a very live arm. We saw that the other night in the practice gym during our research of the broadcast for this week, and that was a great example of it. I've never seen him play middle before, but what a way to get up in the air and hammer that ball down to the floor for a point.
A lot of this LA Blaze team went through Long Beach City College before kind of going to their next programs. O'Gorman went to George Mason, and we saw that's where, let me see the note here. Steven Rotter went to Cal State Northridge out of that, so a lot of these guys started at Long Beach City College, so that was kind of the core of a lot of where these guys are from. Interesting to see if they've got more talent in the pipeline there. LBCC lost to OCC in the Community College State National Championships this year. Off the ceiling, and that one slowed the ball just enough to get the guys out of system. Uchenna Ofoha kind of boxed Specian out from getting to that ball. Liz Dennis continues his run, goes short off the tape again. Mercado is dug by Liz Dennis. Belvin tracks it down, and he did all the leg work and none of the arm work. Unfortunately, he got there, it looked like, but didn't quite finish. Great hustle on the side of LA Blaze and a nice serving substitution by Liz Dennis.
Well, you got to applaud the effort, even though it didn't result in what you were absolutely looking for. Sometimes you just got to go.
Overpass off of Mercado's heavy-handed serve. And Charles Belvin now with a block. Gets it back after that one didn't go his way the play before. And now we're going to see a 6-2 sub, and that's going to bring number 25, Bugs, onto the court, as well as number 15, Joseph Cuevas. Out of system swing, Mushikian goes off the high hands. Eddie Mushikian with a bit of a task ahead of him here as Exposure faces a 4-point deficit. Bounce off the tape. Hernandez just airs that one out. Cuevas cold off the bench for his first swing. And Uchenna Ofoha with a very fast tempo in the middle, able to beat the block of Rotter.
Well, I like that matchup between Ofoha and Rotter in favor of Southern Exposure. Got to run more balls through the middle to Uchenna Ofoha. Get him going here in the final stages of set number 1, Nick.
And that one's going out the back of the court. O'Gorman with a big approach line there and buries that one into the tape. Now Ofoha, see if he can get a little magic started. And that'll bring Langston Payne to the front row. Southern Exposure's been effective in the middle, but we've got to see their passing improve a bit to see if they're able to even have that as an option back in their offense. As of right now, they haven't had the ball control and serve receive they might have hoped for. Bump set to the D-ball. Mercado swings deep, but does not find the touch. LA Blaze working pin to pin with a lot of triple blocks right now, doing a great job. 24-18. Tyler Padayo coming in now as a serving sub for Rotter. I love that the LA Blaze roster has a variety of other liberos, and they use them as serving subs, so they get the aggressive serve and the exceptional defense to follow. And they get exactly what they want there. Both of the serving substitutions of Padayo and Liz Dennis proving to be exceptionally effective. That's going to take us to a 25-18 LA Blaze win in the first set. We'll be right back here after a short break. And if you are joining us, we are back with the front row tickets on any streaming platform that you're checking us out on. That can be on NVAUSA.com, on the NVA USA app, or NVA USA on YouTube. If you're watching us on one, don't be afraid to go check out the other tons of great resources to support the league. But the best way is, of course, stopping by the NVAUSA.shop. Grab some of your team's favorite swag. Southern Exposure determined to have some of the best looking gear in the league and show you some beautiful pinks, some pretty blues, and of course, some boss blacks. I don't know, I had some alliteration going, I was hoping, and it almost got to the end, but didn't quite happen.
Wow. Southern Exposure not afraid to wear the pink and black and the teal blue and the flowers. So it's a
whole package.
It's a quadruple
effect. Yeah, it feels like you're really embracing the Florida lifestyle.
Someone's got to.
And in true fashion, right where we ended, we pick up a block off the forehead of Damani Lenore for his 4th block.
That is a play that we have not seen in a long time. A terminal block point off of the blocker's forehead and down. Damani Lenore using every body part to score points so far for the Blaze.
Good pass from Mushiki and means Ofoha getting activated. A quick note, because we always love talking about the way to win the match, in our opinion, is through the middle. And so the most important stat, in my opinion, to get that going is, what is your service reception like? At the end of that, Southern Exposure sitting at a 48%. That is certainly not high enough to be an effective middle team.
No, that's not going to get it done, Nick. Whether it's through the front row middle or a back row, anything through the middle of the court is reliant on a good pass. And yes, 48% is not going to cut it.
On the side of LA Blaze, they saw 69%. Anything right around that 70% line, that's where you're going to get effective opportunities, and that's what we saw from Rotter and Lenore. So expect to see that coming back. Lenore with a float serve goes after Glessner. Mercado D-ball dug by Serrano. Belvin diving, keeping it alive. Mushikian tries to tip over the top, but Travis O'Gorman there to shut that one down.
Travis O'Gorman with some nice blocking. He's been putting some time in at the beach with his blocking reps, learning to wait, hang, and swat that ball back down to the floor.
LA Blaze had 8 terminal blocks in the first set, and they've already got 2 here in the second. Wow, Belvin took about as much off that with a blocking move as you can, but too much power from Hubbard Neal, and that's going to be putting them down now by just 1, as Uchenna Ofoha looks to put a little pace on the serve. Quick set to the outside. O'Gorman swings deep, but gets the touch off of Mushikian.
O'Gorman's got some good power in that shoulder, right? He's very explosive and really shows some nice hitting angles from the left side for LA Blaze. Product of Long Beach City College, like you were talking about earlier, Nick.
Yep, by way of George Mason. He actually was teammates there with Langston Payne, as well as one of the other Southern Exposure guys. I'm totally spacing on it. It was Johnny Gomez. They were all 3 teammates there. Hubbard Neal takes that free ball. Mercado on the D-ball. Swings that one long. No touch on the block. That's LA Blaze scoring the point.
Well, Chad Mercado having a hard time finding the court on his offensive attempts, especially in transition. Southern Exposure cannot afford to give up too many points out of their opposite player. So we'll see how he responds throughout this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Specian decides that a little quick set back to get his guy back on track is the option, or how they answer back. Nice pass from Glessner. And Hubbard Neal is the option. Able to chisel that one off the hands of the block there. And Hubbard Neal finally finding some repetitive success using the block of the LA Blaze.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Hubbard Neal's name very much in this match so far. He's been relatively quiet, but a very effective outside hitter, and Southern Exposure needs him to score some points for them.
There's a discussion going on right now about if that's something that they want to challenge. It's a very tough call for the referees. When that one lands at their feet, it's hard to see because you cannot see through the ball. Sounds like an obvious comment, but that allows it, or that makes it very difficult to determine if the ball lands on the line or just hovers over it. So, tough call there. Gorman looks to get a little more momentum created and able to do so there. Mercado with a great off-speed roll over the top. No one ready for that at all.
Chad Mercado showing some range. The big opposite coming into the season in some legitimate fitness shape. Expecting the heavy heat. Goes with a gentle little roll shot right over the block.
Good back set. Rodder unable to dig that. Can't handle the heat, but a great turn down the line there from Mercado. Southern Exposure really trying to get something generated right now.
That was a huge turn down the line by Mercado. Caught me off guard and definitely the left back defender for LA Blaze.
Langston Payne with a float serve to his former teammate. Catches him with an ace. D-ball option for Charles Belvins and able to score that one off Mushikian's head. Send it out of the back of the court.
Well, right after that quick point scoring opportunity by Southern Exposure, Charles Belvin bails out his team, scores that point from the right side.
Glesser with a good pass type ball. Over the top of the block. Chad Mercado sends a message to Ricky Massanet. That's a heck of a swing right there for big man number 9.
I'll give credit to David Specian to highlight the mismatch of Chad Mercado against the blocker from the LA Blaze on that one.
Damani Lenore dug by Hubbard Neal. And the repeat attempt right as it felt like Chad Mercado was untouchable. Finds the pin with that one and gives the LA Blaze a bit of a reprieve from the onslaught.
Yeah, maybe one too many times to the well that time for Mercado. Going down the line, that time finding the antenna.
On my own, I just used the sentence, a reprieve from the onslaught, and Howard's not even on set. Glesser high in the middle court. Picked up by Specian, good dexterity there. Hubbard Neal goes down the line and finds that one in. Challenge coming through for LA Blaze. They don't think that ball was in, so they're going to challenge that inline call. Matt, I got to say, this is one of my new favorite things is when the challenges are being discussed. It turns into this is one of the big responsibilities of the bench. You know, do they see the inline call?
Yeah.
But it's all the guys on the court. Everyone on the close ones starts looking at each other of like, did someone have an advantage or a vantage point that says we should challenge this?
Yeah.
And then everyone kind of escalates together, or they de-escalate as a team. It's pretty funny to watch.
And it is interesting. You see the coaches look at the bench players like, should I, shouldn't I? Yeah. Was it in, was it out? What'd you guys see? And it brings the bench involved a little bit more, and it's quite a new avenue of interest, definitely.
And you'll see when sometimes people might be looking for a block touch. You know, the hitter will be the first one to be like, no, I didn't get him there. And they'll back down everybody else.
Right.
But that was a quick resolution. And that ball was in, as called. Blaze now out of system. O'Gorman able to convert that time into the triple block. Well done by him. He struggled a little bit in the out of system swinging thus far in the match. So good adjustment with his feet there. Damani Lenore. Float serve after Glessner, but this is very in system, but it doesn't matter. Number 8, Rotter, shutting down Ofoha in the middle.
Now the blocking of LA Blaze has really caused a lot of problems for Southern Exposure throughout this match so far. Definitely not what I expected to see.
The float serve from Damani Lenore catches Hubbard Neal a little bit flat-footed. Brought back in by Hernandez and a free ball from O'Gorman. Quick set to Hubbard Neal, and he's able to push that one through the block of Belvin and Roeder. And there's the challenge from Exposure. Once again, we talked about the difficulty when that ball is in the corner right next to the ref, the difficulty that there can be. So that's going to warrant a challenge on the side of Exposure. They want to bring this one closer in. Since it currently stands at 13-10, if this call stands, we'll go to 11-12. They don't want to lose track of this one and head towards a loss here in the second set early. Matt, I got to say, I'm thoroughly impressed by not just Lenore's performance, but also Roeder and number 8. The LA Blaze duo in the middle right now feels like they're just taking over this entire match.
Yeah, they've done a great job offensively, but even better job defensively, blocking nearly every player from Southern Exposure at one point or another throughout this first set and a half, essentially. And yeah, that's really causing some problems for Southern Exposure and their offense.
Based on the reactions we're seeing, it looks like it's a pretty obvious call that it is in. So everyone is kind of returning to their spots, and we're expecting the official call to hit the floor here shortly. And that is going to be a point for Southern Exposure. Ball was in. Effective challenge. (11-12). Ofoha brings that one up short.
Unfortunate turn of events there as that extended break between serves took Ofoha out of rhythm a little bit.
Belvin goes to a hybrid, goes short float. Nice move by Glessner. And Hubbard Neal is shut down by Roeder now. Wow, he is dialed in on the side of the Blaze.
LA Blaze must have been doing some serious block and defense work in their practice gym since event number 1, because they are a completely different team right now.
They certainly are. That was an impressive serve by Belvin, too. He dropped that thing short. Good move by Glessner. And there's a back row attack. Lev Gershfeld, number 7, will be coming into the court for number 1, Tyler Hubbard Neal. And the man in my ear giving us some more hot information. Roeder's actually not even a middle blocker, normally a pin hitter stepping in because the team is short on middles for this event, performing exceptionally well so far. And that's what being a good dynamic player is all about, showcasing a very thorough understanding of his blocking responsibilities in the middle. And that's one of the most complex things to understand in the game and what makes the middle blocker role so complicated. Species with a jump serve targeting O'Gorman. An attempted back set, but that goes long, wide. I'm struggling to know the difference between long and wide. Wide.
Yeah, that one was definitely wide. However, not a very good decision from the setter of LA Blaze that time.
Trickles over the tape. Kept alive by Massanet. And there's the block for Langston Payne. He's been looking for a little bit of return fire and able to get it there. Specien ends his serving run there, missing the court. And that's going to bring us to 16-14, a technical timeout. So we'll be right back here after these quick break at 16-14. And we're back here at 16-14. LA Blaze leads here in the second set coming out of this technical timeout. The story of the match so far, the LA Blaze middle blockers are unstoppable. Lev Gershfeld takes the first swing. Okay, on Lev Gershfeld's first swing coming off the bench there to replace Hubbard Neal, gets a little bit of a bailout with, looked like Roeder knocked Hernandez into the net there. Point for Exposure. Gershfeld targeting O'Gorman. That one sails long, no touch. It's funny, you can see both teams clearly have their serving targets. On the side of the LA Blaze, O'Gorman is getting the majority of the receptions here in the second set, and Tony Glessner has been the target for Blaze on the side of Southern Exposure. Belvin out of the D-ball, unable to be picked up there. A little bit of a hole in the block, and Belvin able to use that to the utmost potential. Damani Lenore now rotates into the front row. Exposure trailing by just one. A stop feels quite essential here as we get into the later parts of this game. A massive, authoritative dump from Serrano. Belvin gave him a ball on the net, and there is so much physicality in number 14. He's looking for every opportunity to just throw that ball down. Great point there.
Something we haven't seen from the Blaze in quite a long time is the level of athleticism and excitement, some emotional investment as well to get the momentum on their side.
And Another swing just barely misses the hands, and that's going to mean it's time for an exposure timeout. LA Blaze feeling like they're kind of lighting this world on fire right now, getting a lot of stops on the net. I don't know, Matt, when I'm looking at this one, it feels a bit like this morning where we just saw the serve and pass kind of stops the game from getting played in a sense. It feels like Southern Exposure is so out of system. Everything's just going back and forth to the pins. Not a lot of middle involvement. And the LA Blaze middles are absolutely ready to take control of that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We did expect to see a lot more middle attacking from Southern Exposure, but they can't run their middles if they can't pass the ball in the right spot to do so. So credit to LA Blaze with their service pressure from the inline and their service targeting as well, to highlight maybe that breakdown and opportunities for those less than perfect passes.
I think this really showcases exactly how much D'Agostino and Gomez do in the service line for these teams, whether they force teams to serve away from them or just showcases exactly how much they take during the serve-receive responsibilities. Chad Mercado able to take advantage of the one-on-one on the right side there. Hernandez tooled wide. And now Jacob Ciesla, number 14, coming in as a serving substitution for Langston Payne. We saw Ciesla in a similar role during Event 1, generating some good momentum for this squad. See what he's able to do here now. In system means Damani Lenore puts an exclamation point on the end of that sentence. The man is unstoppable.
Unstoppable and explosive. I mean, he is flying and absolutely hammering these balls out of the middle. Southern Exposure has no answer for it.
Serrano with a bit of a hybrid. Great pass from Glessner means Ofoha gets his day in the sun. Goes with a little cut back, thumb down, bounces that one right back at the LA Blaze. Not to be outdone. Down by 2 still. Exposure really needs to answer back, and Chad Mercado with a threatening serve might be just the key to it. Mercado with a hand dig. Mushikian with an approach line from outside the court, and a net on the side of the LA Blaze. We always talk about Chad Mercado having a bit of a hybrid serve. With the same toss, he'll sometimes hit jump serve, sometimes he hits a float serve, and man, it makes it really difficult. As a passer, that's it on show right there. But Charles Belvin skies for that swing, banging that ball over the block with a big kill.
That is a huge swing that went cleanly through the block. Charles Belvin absolutely answering the opportunity that time with his own hammer from the left side.
Gershfeld in serve receive, a back set to Ofoha, and right now it feels like Exposure is consistent passing away from being back in this game, but they've got to be able to pass. Every time it's a good pass, it's kind of guaranteed to go to the middle because they've had so few, and Ofoha's scoring almost automatically.
Yeah, it's a battle of middles at this point.
Mushikian targets O'Gorman. Back set to Belvin, who goes for a bit of a windmill. Doesn't locate that, sends it wide.
That looked like a pretty good set to me, Nick. I think you would have taken an absolute rip at that ball back in your heyday from the right side.
One weekend ago, one tournament ago.
So that arm swing is a little questionable, but...
I think doing a little too much. 21-21. Eddie Mushikian sprays that one wide. Les Dennis now making his reemergence on the court, number 18. As I mentioned earlier, he's one of the backup liberos behind Massanet. He played the entire Event 1 wearing the off-color jersey, but now being utilized by Coach Chaparro as a serving sub, and you can see why with that serve right there. Hernandez into the back row, picks it up. O'Gorman out of system, swings. No cover on the recycle swing. LA Blaze not getting the defensive coverage they would expect.
They have to cover that ball. It bounced nearly 15 feet back into the court. Someone on that side has to make a move for that ball and cover your hitter.
Hernandez takes ball 1. Low set. O'Gorman tries to do a little too much. Unfortunately, there was nowhere to go with that set there. I want to corral that one back in. And now some unforced errors on the side of LA Blaze. Give them a 1-point deficit for the first time that I can recall in this set. And that's going to yield a timeout. Exposure getting a doorway opened up to find their way back into this.
Yeah, they're taking their first lead here of set number 2. And couldn't have come in a better time here as the business end of the set, really resulting in some high pressure moments for each side. At that time, you're right, make the connection between the set and the hitter, not quite where they needed it, and Travis O'Gorman couldn't keep that ball in play. In those situations where you just want to see it go into the court and give your block and defense a chance to swing. Travis O'Gorman maybe trying a little too hard to make something out of nothing that time.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting roles of, being an outside hitter is there's times that you're going to get sets that are it really is just all about a management situation.
Just like that, after the timeout, Foha misses his jump float serve. So that's a little frustrating for those Southern Exposure fans that are watching online right now. But we're deadlocked at 23 points apiece here. Tense moments in set number 2.
It's a sprint to 2. Anyone that's not familiar, the game is a win by 2. So it's all about getting there first. Specian tries to help Tony Glessner out on the overpass. Just not quite able to get the touch he wants. So it's going to be a timeout now for Southern Exposure. Both these teams just battling it out. Charles Belvin went to a float serve after missing his first jump serve long. Goes right back to it, targeting Tony Glessner. In the middle of Langston Payne, punches that one through. Once again, we talk about the good passes on the side of Exposure are rewarded with middle swings almost every single attempt. Specian determined to give his middle blockers a chance to contribute offensively as well. O'Gorman is the outside hitter option. Specian tries to track that one down. His first step looked a little awkward. Kind of tripped on top of himself trying to just make that move. It was a good block touch on the side of Exposure. Now a blocking substitution coming in just to get a little bit more size. Joseph Cuevas comes in as a outside hitter now, someone that plays both pins particularly well, has been put on contract overseas in a variety of countries in both roles. So now looking to increase the block size, expecting that Lev Gershfeld may be the option. But no need for that to be the option when Travis O'Gorman puts on the afterburners and ends the set number 2 on his own accord with an ace. And that's going to do it for set number 2, 26-24. We'll be right back.
rest of them combined have 16. He has 30.
Matt, we are getting back into it here now in the third set. Southern Exposure down 0-2 back against the wall. And if they're going to want to win this one, that means the reverse sweep has to start now.
It does have to start now, and anyone that watches volleyball knows how difficult a reverse sweep is to pull off on any level, any stage, especially on the professional side of things. And so LA Blaze has to expect to see Southern Exposure come out of the gates fast, try to respond to being down 0-2. Meanwhile, Southern Exposure's got to play a little bit more solid. That was a better set than set number one, obviously, based on the scoreboard alone, but keep their serves in, put the pressure on LA Blaze, get a couple more blocks on their side, see if they can extend this match into a 4-set. But for LA Blaze, keep doing what they're doing, playing at a high percentage, and try to keep running their offense through the middle. Travis O'Gorman activated throughout this set as well, and LA Blaze might be able to pull off the 3-0 sweep, which is what I predicted this morning, Nick, in our pregame match.
You certainly
LA Blaze
did. I
winning
missed
this
the call
match.
here after playing Southern Exposure Event 1. I thought we were going to see a little bit more answer and a little more ball control, but not to be the case here. Good block touch on the triple. Hubbard Neal back in. O'Gorman takes that dig, and that's going to be entirely mishandled. I think that slipped through the hands of Serrano on the way to the outside, and Southern Exposure starts this one with a 1-point lead.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate mishandled set from Serrano. LA Blaze had a golden opportunity there to score their first point of the set. However, it goes the other way to Southern Exposure.
Specian into the tape there. Now Serrano answering back. And recycled, covered, and now is chopped down the line from Mercado. Massanet goes to Belvin, and Belvin with a big swing off the hands of Mercado. Number 17 gets it done for the LA Blaze.
Charles Belvin is extremely athletic. The kid can fly. He's got a left-handed whip, cannon of an arm. To go off the block and out on the opposite sideline is a very powerful play by him.
Glessner battling with that, but the out-of-system passing continues. A tip over the top picked up by Massanet. Belvin's not an option. O'Gorman is, but misses the hands he's looking for and sails that one down into the next city line over. Back set to Hernandez, a tip over the top, tried to be swatted. And that's so a little bit of a discussion here. Neil Stanley making his first appearance, tried to swat that first ball and then touched it on the second one. They were calling it 2 contacts. There was a disagreement on intent that the first move was a block move. Therefore, he could touch it again, but that's not the way that the up ref called it, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you got to play on. Short serve, middle option. Hernandez tracks it down and tried to keep it alive. Belvin airs that out to buy some time. And that is hammered through the net by O'Gorman. Exposure's block, not ready to handle the heat right now. LA Blaze just swinging hard enough to move hands, create space. Belvin with an off speed. Glessner with a fancy little back set. Yeah, that's that. I saw that very differently. I don't know if that's challengeable. All right, so what's being challenged right here is the outside hitter for Southern Exposure, number 18, Neil Stanley. He was called in the net when he wiped this ball into the block of, I believe it was Belvin and Lenore, but either the ball hit the tape or he hit the equipment, but he was not close with his body to the net. So I don't know how this ends, though. Does this just warrant a replay? Because I don't think the play had ended.
Well, if he did, in fact, touch the net support system, that's not part of the net violation bylaws,
right.
So it would be a replay.
Okay.
If he touched the net inside the playing area, which is inside the antenna,
the call would stand.
Then it would be a net violation.
Right. But so I think in this case, the ball hit. So it's going to be a replay. We just heard it through the radio. So that ball, there was in fact no net. That is a good challenge by Exposure, and that's going to be a replay. Again, this is where we always talk about how much we love having the challenge system. Most of the time you're aware if you net. That was not even questionable for number 18 in black and pink there. Stanley knew he didn't net and gets the opportunity to replay that point. So good use of that system here by Exposure. Hernandez gets a tight pass. Speciange keeps it alive. Stanley sets it over. Free ball opportunity. Belvin goes sharp angle once again and gets the touch called. It's a repeat of a swing that Belvin didn't quite get to go his way earlier, but able to score that one there effectively. 5-2 for the LA Blaze. Hubbard Neal on his heels there for that one. Stanley hammers that one through. Lenore opens the gate for the first time in recent memory. Off the bench, Neil Stanley getting the job done there. He's a new face that we have not seen suit up before for Southern Exposure, so he makes his NVA debut. A nice big block there from, in the form of the NVA USA top tape. Lenore not able to get that one over the net.
Well, a rare error that time from Lenore. He's been hitting at a very high percentage. Time not making it over.
Langston Payne catches Travis O'Gorman, and Charles Belvin able to use the left outside hand of Stanley. Another one of those discussions we talked about right there. You could see everyone walking in, they just confirmed with Stanley, like, hey, did you get that? Because that's what they called, kind of thing. And you just always see the active conversation, making sure that everyone's on the same page and in tune. Glessner battles with the tape. Ofoha redirects. Dug by Lenore. Belvin with a standing swing uses the block. Once again in number 17. 3 for 3 on the last 3 swings. Coming to life. And he is very regularly attributed with being a bit of the spark plug with this LA Blaze team. Lenore sends that one long, getting a little too jazzed on his dig in the last rally. Mercado off speed, kept alive by Hernandez. Middle set, tipped over the top. And Hubbard Neal tries to swing out of the back row, covered after Blaze blocks it back. Belvin takes first ball. O'Gorman hammers in, and there's the terminal block from Ofoha, paired with Specian. Southern Exposure determined to end that one on their terms.
We haven't said Ofoha's name a lot, especially in blocking defense. That time, a great move to his right, gets his hands over the net low and tight and grabs that ball for the block.
Mercado helps out in serve receive. Quick set across the tape. Stanley's dug by Massanet. Belvin takes second ball. O'Gorman over the triple block. The out-of-system LA Blaze looks very composed right now.
Yeah, that's a big play for LA Blaze. Gives him a 3-point advantage. Still early on here in set number 3, but really nicely done making the transition plays, getting those second and third opportunities to swing. That time a point going to that side.
High swing over the top of the block, no touch there. Ricky Massanet steps in, but that's going to be off the ceiling and over. Hernandez with a good pass off the shoulder. This one's got to go. Serrano with a chop over the top of the block. I know Ofoha with the active arm, a little bit of a low set, but he was up so fast, he was able to beat the block there of Roeder.
Interesting strategy being employed by Southern Exposure, going through the middle. Not a lot of back row offense or even wing offense, but
Roeder answers back.
Answers nicely with a high quick attack of his own.
Big toss from O'Gorman, not a single bit of top spin there, a little bit of back spin and side spin, and sends that one into the back wall. And LA Blaze with a 2-point lead still, but Ofoha, see if he can get a little something generated here. He's been kind of streaky on the service line. He's put together some runs, but also ended them immediately with missed serves. with the quick back set. Southern Exposure was not ready for that route. I love the creativity from Serrano. Over the top, Langston Payne help. Off the tape, Hubbard Neal battles through the block there and scores a nice kill into the angle. No dig from the side of the LA Blaze. Just long. Everyone's looking for a challenge on that one. This is always interesting because there are two lines, blue and black, that look similar when you're on the other side of the court. So Exposure looking quite confident on this call, but LA Blaze seems entirely unthreatened. This ball seems to be out by quite a bit, but reversal of call here. A little bit of a different way, so that's a great challenge for the side of Southern Exposure, earning their point there. A critical moment once again. Instead of going down by 3 points, now down by just 1. Specian knew that serve was exactly what he wanted. Does it again, but Massanet ready for this one. And Hernandez is corralled back into the court, covered by Massanet. A back dump attempt picked up by Glessner. Court reversal, tipped over the top, and Massanet is everywhere. Unfortunately, not where he needs to be just for that tip. The hustle from number 11 is incredible and inspiring, to say the least.
Well, let's talk about number 20 in the floral pink and white.
Yeah.
Libero for Southern Exposure, claiming to have a ruptured ACL, but moving like a lion cub.
A lot of service pressure from Specian. Belvin dug down by Glessner. Mercado gets another opportunity, but there is a blocking violation from Damani Lenore. And just like that, it feels like Southern Exposure is getting a little bit of a spark back in their game right now. That serve goes long, ending the service run for Specian, but Specian doing a nice job to create some energy and tie this game up at 13. Nice pass by Glessner. Mercado swings off the side of Lenore, gets a second attempt, and able to battle that block through. Exposure is really just taking it to that LA Blaze block and finally able to find some small holes. It feels like for the first 2.5 sets, there was no winning against the block of Lenore and Belvin, but slowly picking it apart. Miscommunication there between Serrano and Lenore. Still only down by 2. LA Blaze not in any catastrophic position. The goal now is just to maintain your composure and just keep things moving. Lawson out with a great pass and a back set to Hernandez, but that's picked up by Hubbard Neal. And that's a big swing for the outside, number 18, Neil Stanley. And that's going to bring us to a technical timeout at 16-13 with a 3-point lead for Exposure. We'll be right back. now Southern Exposure up by 3 points at 16-13 is going to see if they're able to hold on coming out of the technical timeout. Question of the day, Tyler Hubbard-Neal, someone that has a ton of service pressure. Is he going to go for a controlled swing here or a lot of pressure? And Hernandez answers back brilliantly with a right side swing. Lenore throws that one down, and Specian not able to get the touch he's hoping for. Dug by Serrano, overpass, Mercado terminates. Crucial point for Exposure. The rallies are extending for both teams. Exposure needs to shore up some of their serving, though. If they're able to get a little bit more consistency on the service line, that might give them a little bit of an advantage that they're looking for here. One-handed backside, Belvin! Absolute bomb into the court. That might have been the biggest swing the NVA has ever seen.
Oh my goodness. That was unreal. People are speechless in this gym right now.
The
what a swing.
one-handed back set. Oh my goodness. Ping pongs around on the ceiling, a little step close. Goes over the top, picking on the back row middle.
That is unfortunate that that ball dropped after a nice block by LA Blaze and nearly just a roll shot from Southern Exposure. Ball's got to get picked up.
Aggressive serve from Mercado, and that one takes out some equipment on the backside. Belvin with the float serve, targeting Hubbard-Neal. Back set to Mercado. Wow. A spread offense and a very confident one at that from David Specian. O'Gorman dug, it's gonna trickle over, picked up, Massanet's in it. Ricky Massanet with an absolutely heroic move coming across, trying to back up Charles Belvin. And that's gonna be a timeout taken from LA Blaze, down by 3. Little bit of life coming to fruition here for the boys in black and pink. You know, after that swing from Belvin, not only was the swing ridiculously impressive, it was on a one-handed back set. I mean, that's as good of a combo as you can get.
I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of slow motion replays on that one for the rest of the season on every social media platform.
Hey, that's the goal. If you want to make it happen, all you need to do is go down below the YouTube there. First of all, hit the thumbs up, like the stream, show your support for the NVA. It's free to you and helps us a heck of a lot. The other thing you can do is there's a pair of scissors down there. Go cut that clip out. You can share that link in your social medias. Tag Charles Belvin, let him know how much you appreciate that kind of swing and authority here in the NVA, and let your friends all know what they are missing out if they're not tuned in on this Friday night. O'Gorman not getting the pass he wants there. He's the only option, and if he's going to swing like that, at least he can bail himself out. He was shaking his head in the middle of that rally after that pass, displeased with it. O'Gorman misses that one in the net. A quick stat there, both teams coming in with 3 aces into this third set. There were 9 missed serves from Exposure and 4 from Blaze. That does not count for the missed serves that have happened thus far, but certainly a noticeable disparity between the two teams' execution on the service line. Massanet battles with it, but there's an ace. Eddie Mushikian coming in for Hubbard Neal.
Mushikian, who hasn't played since set number 2.
Yeah, that's for the middle, my bad. But yeah.
Serving an ace.
And now we got a timeout once again. LA Blaze trying to slow down the energy getting generated here from Southern Exposure. Mushikian with the jump serve, taken by Hernandez. Roeder once again swinging on the out-of-system middle option there on the right side, gets rewarded for it. And now Nicholas Dennis making his reemergence once again. Liz Dennis so far has 4 serves, 1 ace, no errors. That's as good as it can get from a serving substitution. Catches Hubbard Neal. This is going to be out of system. That's the ace. There it is now. 5 attempts and 2 aces.
What?
Double sub now, bringing in Bugs and Cuevas. A little bit of a questionable call here, in our opinion, to slow down the rhythm that you've generated on the serving run, but Liz Dennis going back all the same, might get the overpass. And now it's finished by the side of LA Blaze. Get a lucky recycle. Hernandez not getting the touch he wants. And that kind of pressure from Liz Dennis is as good as an ace. Now down by just 1. A timeout called on the side of Southern Exposure. Matt, I am always critical of serving substitutions. I really want to see a consistent guy that gets used, and that's kind of his role in the team. Maybe he's an outside hitter that's known for having a good serve and he's not in that set or something like that. But Nicholas Dennis is, I think, hands down the best serving sub in the league. And that guy just constantly comes in, a high pressure serve that he gets reliable aces, very minimal errors. And right now on 7 attempts, he's got 2 aces and an overpass.
I totally agree with you, Nick. I mean, Liz Dennis has his identity and his role on this team identified, and it might be that serving sub. And he absolutely 2 straight points for his team now. LA Blaze down by 1. Let's see what he can do after the timeout.
Also impressive because that event 1, he stepped up and was the starting libero for the entire event. Gets it again, and that's barely saved. Cut over. Picked up by O'Gorman, now a bump set from Liz Dennis. And that's going to squeak through the block, and just like that, LA Blaze has closed up a 4-point deficit on the back of number 18, Nicholas Dennis. Oh, and just like that, the serving run comes to an end, but not for lack of a heroic effort from number 18, Nicholas Dennis. Breathing life into an LA Blaze team. David Specian now looking for his turn. Got an ace last time he was in the middle of a service run. And misses that one wide, bailing out the LA Blaze. Double sub undone. Serrano comes in to serve. Charles Belvin making his appearance back in the front row. LA Blaze now out of substitutions. They've used all 6. That means the guys on the court will finish this one out as they race to 2 points. Overpass once again. There's going to be a net on the side of Exposure, and Exposure has battled back from a 4-point deficit at 22-18 to give themselves match point, earning a timeout from Southern Exposure. This is quite the turnaround.
What a turn of events, Nick. I'm a little baffled. I don't quite know if I have words for what I'm seeing right now, because the service pressure from LA Blaze, they were just down by 3 points, and now they have match point? Like, what's happened?
Yeah, it just feels like that little bit of consistency and confidence that Southern Exposure, they were finding. It was letting them get back in the system, finding some good swings, and now all of a sudden, LA Blaze shores up the service line, and they just uptick on the pressure. They've been making very, very few errors as a team, but the fact that they're able to have a couple guys come in as role players and just start hammering serves like that, that's if you're an LA Blaze fan, that's a little inspiring. You're glad to see that after the 1-1 weekend on event number 1, a 2-1 lead is going to be nice. Tony Glessner battling with it, backside. Hubbard Neal able to keep Exposure alive. Chisels that one off the hands of Hernandez and Lenore. 24-24. Fans, if you're tuning in to join us for the last match of this Friday night, we are doing our very best to deliver a lot of exciting volleyball here. Ricky Massanet with a pass. Hernandez now beats the inside hand of Langston Payne, doesn't get it over the net.
Big swing right there at a very key moment for LA Blaze, getting it past the block. Thought for sure Langston Payne would have dropped a right hand into that one. LA Blaze, another chance now, match point. Tense moments
here. Glessner battles again. Stanley, no, but there is a net violation being called, I believe. Nope, touch. Got it? All right. LA Blaze is challenging that touch. Pretty sure Charles Belvin has admitted that he touched that one, but is just slowing the game down. Not really sure. Once again, there are three challenges to use throughout the match, so up until that 5th set. So if you need them and you need to slow the game down here, not a bad time to use one all the same. our chat is luckily in the position that if they want to back that up on YouTube, they can rewatch it and get their own challenge system going. As we wait for the call to come through here, you can see the powwow on your screen of all the players.
Jurassic Jumbotron.
Looks like a final verdict is coming in here. This is going to be a bit of a, a test of teams' disciplines. This game kind of grinding to a halt. You can see Damani Lenore right there trying to keep his knees warm because this one is going a little bit longer than expected. Now remember, the important thing here is there must be irrefutable evidence that there was to overturn, but there is a touch called. This will be a Southern exposure point. So that's going to tie us up at 25 apiece, and Lev Gershfeld subbed in to serve for Langston Payne. I love all the participation in the chat. Everyone getting a chance to make their claim, and now you got to sit there and everyone saw your call, so I respect it. I enjoy what everyone was willing to ride with on their calls. The one-handed back set again, and the highlight reel continues. The first time wasn't cool enough. They needed it one more time, and LA Blaze takes another match point.
Just keep the highlight reel rolling, Nick.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my goodness. The ball missed connection from Specian to Ofoha, but that lands on the sideline. You could hear everybody over here on the stat table exhale as that one just falls in. Chad Mercado now. See if he can generate something for exposure to rely on. O'Gorman battles high hands, but an undisciplined net violation. LA Blaze getting bailed out there. Belvin with the float. Goes short once again, and that's going to be taken by Hubbard. Neal, tight pass. Ofoha blocked back. Another attempt. Glessner goes up. Touched off. Belvin takes it. Opportunity. Hernandez into the tape.
I cannot believe he chose that set of Bick in transition. You've got Travis Gorman on the left side ready to swing against Specian's block. And Southern Exposure escapes another match point. Unbelievable.
I think your criticism is well aimed at Serrano there. O'Gorman's got to be your guy. Belvin blocked, picked up. Belvin sets beautifully across net to O'Gorman, and that's in on the hard angle. Coaching staff agrees that one is in. But once again, there's a quick litmus test for what you're talking about. O'Gorman gets the set, puts it away. That should have been the answer the point before. I'm impressed by Belvin's set there off their back foot. So Exposure has decided to challenge this all the same. I think once again trying to get a chance to slow the play down, because they're going to be down by 1 point going into match point on this one. So sit tight. I know this is turning into a bit of a crawl that feels like the end of maybe an NFL game, and normally the exact opposite of what a high-speed volleyball game is all about. But you know, when a match this close, neither team wants to give an inch. So stay tuned with us. We're just hanging out while we wait for the call to come in. Waiting on the call to come through. All right, looks like final. Yeah, I like it. Disagreement in the chat for the sake of disagreement, so that both sides are represented. That's what it's all about. I respect that. So the call coming through here is that there was an error with the challenge system, meaning that whether it was the feed or the angle of the cameras or something like that, are unable to challenge that, meaning that the play that was called will stand and is deemed non-challengeable, and Southern Exposure is not charged a challenge there. So apologies to anyone watching in the live chat that had cast their vote. No answer will be rendered, and I'll let you guys watch that back on replay to get the final answer.
Final answer says match point to LA Blaze.
Certainly does, Matt. O'Gorman off the tape, overpass out of it, and that is going to do it. That is a 3-set sweep for the LA Blaze, taking down Southern Exposure. Well, that was certainly a nail-biter, Matt. Great comeback there from the LA Blaze.
Certainly was, Nick. I mean, a good effort put forth by Southern Exposure in set number 3. Credit to them. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board on what to do tomorrow in their next match. Meanwhile, LA Blaze came out of the gates hot, carried it all the way through, and had to come back from behind there to win the match in set number 3 behind the serving. And overall, a great performance by LA Blaze. Nick, a little bit lost for words now.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of I think a bit of a misrepresentation in the sense that when you think of Southern Exposure and who they really are, having Johnny Gomez and D'Agostino in that serve receive line, Glessner was being targeted almost 3 times as much as the rest of the team combined. I think he did a good job, but there is certainly something to be said for having some of the best liberos in the league, and having someone else stepping in trying to battle with that.
Definitely.
So I think that it kind of changed what we associate the identity of Southern Exposure as, a ball control oriented team. It kind of threw them off their game. They weren't able to figure it out, and
well, now
credit to Blaze.
Let's get some credit going to LA Blaze, especially Charles Belvin and some of those left-handed right side attacks we saw.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely, you mentioned it about the physicality, how aggressive he is. Those one-handed sets, that ball is so tight to the net. His discipline and his aggressiveness to get up there, snap on that ball, and not end up in the net, it's frankly unheard of.
Well, and he's expecting to get the set in those situations as well.
Yep. O'Gorman was an absolute monster, but I have to say the entire pace of the match for me was set in the middle between Lenore and number 8, Steven Roeder. Those guys from the get-go dictated the speed, the pace. They controlled the entire defense with their blocking schemes. Impressive.
Absolutely. Roeder, not a huge offensive weapon, only got a couple of sets, but when he did get action through the middle, he got kills. But mostly his blocking was a huge addition. But you're right, the other side.
Lenore,
thank you very
Yeah,
much.
no, I'm
Had
with
an
ya.
amazing match tonight.
What impresses me about the LA Blaze team is when you have Lenore, when you've got Belvin, when you've got O'Gorman, it feels like almost every swing is just a highlight level swing because they put so much power on the ball that it just they're thumping the ball, and they can go back and clip out a bunch of stuff there to be like, oh, check out this highlight reel. But
And great offensive setting from Serrano as well.
yeah, there was a couple questionable sets in the home run that you or the home stretch that I think that you called out there, and I think it was a very accurate critique, especially because of how well O'Gorman was playing on the outside. Little slow early on with the out-of-system connection, but he got that straightened up very quickly and was a very reliable option. So, when you've got an 0-1 that can be that terminal, I really want to see the team utilize him in that position. That's when they're expecting the set. That's when he's expecting to be utilized, and that's what he does well for this team. So, that's one of those things. You take it back to the drawing board. You have a little discussion about it as a team. You watch some film, and you bring it back in a day or two, and you apply that to the team, and that's what the growth process of the season's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit to Blaze for turning it around after going 1-2 or 1-1 in the previous event, and not having some of these key players, but really coming out of the gates tonight well and having a good performance.
Yeah, now we're going to throw it over to the sideline to Ira Thor alongside the man of the match. That's going to be number 4, Damani Lenore. Ira, take it away.
Ira Thor courtside with our man of the match, Damani Lenore, with a tremendous effort. The LA Blaze today won this match because of their blocking scheme. Can you talk about just the whole game plan in terms of how you guys plan to shut down Southern Exposure today?
All of our practice has been mainly focused on blocking, making sure you're closing the block, making sure we're the hitter, and really seeing where they're hitting the ball in front of them there. So it was just mainly a focus on our practice that we had.
I don't think people are surprised that you guys won the match. I think it's the fact that you won it in 3 today against a Southern Exposure team. They were a semifinals team a year ago, had so many pieces returning today, yet you guys look to be the more polished team. You just talk about the composure of your team right now and how well you're playing together.
Yeah, we all play pretty relaxed, obviously still in tempo, but still pretty relaxed. And I think it's also, we have a couple of new guys on the floor, and so a lot of them are just trying to show, that they can be out there, come these next matches that we do have. And so it's almost like we're fighting for spots out here. So it's a really competitive nature that we have on our team.
What about having Travis O'Gorman back? Certainly a big focal point in the offense.
He's a killer, so I'm so glad to have that man back. I used to play with him back in school, and that man was a legend, so I'm glad to have him back.
You look like you were having fun out there today. Certainly you disrupting their entire offensive game.
Yeah, I was having a good time out there. As soon as I, get a couple points going, it's kind of easy to get that momentum and all that experience in. So, I was excited.
You hit at a 67% rate tonight, 6 kills, but it was the blocking that really stood out. So it's our man of the match, Damani Lenore. LA Blaze all over Southern Exposure today in 3 sets. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Great to hear exactly what's going on behind the scenes with the LA Blaze. That's going to do it for us here. That was the 6 o'clock match. We're going to be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as the Inland Empire Matadors take on the Dallas Tornadoes. If you want to hear a little bit more about the behind the scenes, we have been having player press conferences going on all tournament long with both teams. So be sure to check those out. They're going up on YouTube as well as other social media platforms. Make sure to support the league. Hit that like button down below, and we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned, and we'll be back here tomorrow morning.